Today we're going to be exploring what are virtual sharps and how you can benefit from using them in your day-to-day CAD design. Obvious place to start is going to be getting inside this part here, and we're going to go ahead and get a sketch started. We're going to deliberately sketch something up real quick that's not going to really use any sort of perpendicularity, just to showcase what virtual sharps can be used for. Let's throw in some radii here on some of these. We'll go with something like a 1/2 inch. We don't want to do that, so we can hop out. Let's grab that corner. Do our radii that way. And we can accept that. So at this point, we've got some features here where if we need to know where the corner for either of these radius points are, we're kind of going to have some potential difficulty, particularly due to the fact that, as I mentioned, these two lines are not perpendicular currently. We're about 80 degrees. So what we want to do is utilize virtual sharps. There's two ways to approach it. First is going to be with Smart Dimension, where we can go ahead and right-click on one of these entities, find intersection, select the other entity. Now we're in our Smart Dimension automatically, and we can drop in a dimension. Maybe we want that to be 2.5 inches or something like that. But we can start to get those dropped in. A alternative method is going to be doing a multi-select and then using the point tool with those two lines selected, and that'll drop it in for us. And from here we can select this and this, and again maybe we want 2.5 inches, so we've got that all ready to go. And similar to that, but a little bit quicker, is if we do a multi-select and wait for our in-context toolbar, we can go ahead and customize this. I already have my point added to it if you're going to be using virtual sharps quite a bit, but this point doesn't need to be on here. By default anyway, it won't be. We can do a quick search for our point, and we just need to make sure that we grab the one that looks similar to the sketch entity point rather than something like a filter. We can go ahead and add that in here, hop out, and then when we come in, we can just use our in context menu to get that sharp right away, and we can use our control select. Maybe we want that to be 6 inches. We can bring that out, and we've done our virtual sharps. Now that we have an understanding on how to utilize them, we should take a quick look at how to choose what we want to do. We can either go to document properties and to our virtual sharps inside of here, or we can just utilize the selection here. Something to be aware of with virtual sharps being within our document properties is that we will need to update our part model template and our drawing template as well, so that those will continue to carry forward the type of virtual sharps that we prefer. The witness mark is a nice one. The star is pretty good as well. Great thing about this is that stars kind of keep things decluttered. Maybe when we're working inside of our part file, but then once we get into our drawing, we may want to use something like the witness marks. Let's go take a look at that. Okay, now that we have our part into a drawing, we can go into our annotations, model items, and pull in our information that we want to pull through. You can just go ahead and select most of this. accept that. Yeah, we want the entire model. That was my mistake on my selections. And we'll notice here that we're not getting our virtual sharps being carried through, which can be a potential problem for us if we need those so people fully understand what we want to do. So same way that we did it in a part file, we can go ahead and come into here. Difference is that we're not going to get the in context menu for the sketch point, but we can always apply that. Drop in our points. And then in this instance, we may want to leave these as the witness marks that they're coming in as. So now with that, we can have our drawing templates updated to match whatever our company design standard might be. Anyway, I hope this helps you when you're doing any sort of modeling with maybe some geometry where a radii or a chamfer is kind of hindering your ability to fully see what you're working on, but this should help you in the future.